Hey guys, what's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and once again we are revisiting mid-crisis New York City to talk about Tom Clancy The Division, and I am joined by Alex, say hello.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And Caleb.
Hello, Internet.
And as you know, I met Caleb at E3 2015, and he has brought along his good friend Alex, and we are all really excited about The Division, and we are going to be comparing it to a game that I have been playing big time, and it is The Last of Us multiplayer. I have been like absolutely addicted to it, and it shares a ton of similarities to The Division in my opinion. I think Ubisoft Massive has been sitting there, you know, playing The Last of Us. I would not be surprised if that was the case. But the biggest thing is when I played The Division at E3 2015, the kill time seemed too long. I think, Caleb, you got to try it. You would agree?
Yeah, I actually made the same comment to the developers at E3. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, after playing The Last of Us, the kill time is actually almost the same as The Division. And I'm addicted to The Last of Us, so that was surprising. It's almost like you can take enemies. This is how you play The Last of Us. You can't really take them down one-on-one too much. You don't want to do that, so you want to lure them by attracting their attention and getting them in a group. That's sort of the mentality that I can see The Division playing to. So if that was the case, that is supposedly, let's say that's how it works in The Division. Would you guys like that, or would you like more one-on-one action where the kill time's more like, say, Call of Duty or Battlefield? And go ahead, you can start, Caleb.
Oh, okay. So I am kind of torn on this issue. First of all, I understand what they're trying to do. It's an RPG first. And RPGs, generally kill times are long. I mean, you could play a boss battle in an old turn-based RPG, say like Final Fantasy 2 or 3, and that could take you, 5 minutes. Maybe even a little bit longer if it's a final boss. For shooters, we're generally expecting short kill times, maybe half second, 2 seconds max, right?
Yep, exactly.
I think that this game is on the opposite side of the genre because it's an RPG first. However, they haven't really sold it that way up until now. And the stuff that we've even seen from the 2013 trailer shows some pretty quick time to kill.
That's true. That is true.
So, how do I feel about it? I think it could be good. I think it could be bad. It all depends on if you can solo it and if it scales while you solo. So if it doesn't scale while you're soloing and you still have to take a guy down in, 30 seconds, and you're with 3 guys and it still takes 30 seconds, that doesn't do us any good because, we should be taking guys down faster.
Right, that's a very good point. That is such a good point. So if you're like a single player type player and you want to go through the whole game, that really wouldn't work out too well. But Alex, what do you think of it? Do you want long kill times, short kill times, instant deaths? What do you want?
I can see an argument for both systems, certainly. But I feel like a longer kill time is not necessarily a bad thing, so long as it doesn't get into a ridiculous length of time to kill something, especially long boss battles. One thing I dislike when you are fighting in when you're playing, say, Resident Evil 5. A lot of the Resident Evil games are notorious for that, where things tend to be bullet sponges. Metal Gear Solid 4, I remember a lot of the bosses and things like that seem to be, you could just unload into these guys, and it didn't really seem to do a whole lot. I do like the reactive nature of, in a lot of games, a lot of shooters, if you shoot someone in the head, they're gone. If you shoot someone with a shotgun center masked, they're gone. But I think that they're just really more than anything else, and they have plenty of time. Once the engine is in place, it's all just tweaking numbers. It's tweaking damage, tweaking health, tweaking damage mitigation and stuff like that. And so I have confidence in them, but I would really like to see a nice, fair, and consistent time to kill.
Yeah, I think that the headshots are going to be the most important thing, because that's where you can take the skill and really use that. It doesn't have to be 110% RPG. Once you start going for the headshots, that would be really nice. Another thing that The Last of Us has, though, which The Division I didn't really pick up on with my time playing it, was the stealth. I mean, you could legitimately go into the multiplayer and play stealthy. I had so many guys coming up behind me and just stabbing me with their shank. I was like, jeez, it freaks you out. I love it so much. I'm serious. If you have a PS4 or whatever, pop in, The Last of Us, or buy it, try it, because it is so freaking addicting. It works so well in an open world. but I hope that the Division really taps into the stealth. It is deserving of that stealth. Is that something you guys would like to see? And we could start with Alex this time.
So in the Division, I would like to see, with regards to stealth, I would like to see less of an actual stealth system.
Okay.
Say, like you see in a lot of RPGs, single player and multiplayer, you have a stealth system where if someone's in a stealth mode, they're invisible to you. Think rogues in World of Warcraft, for example.
Right.
They're completely invisible until they're detected in stealth. I don't like that. I would much rather it be a stick to the shadows. Flanking, circumventing, line of sight and stuff like that. That is the stealth that I enjoy more than simply turning invisible.
Okay, yeah, because in The Last of Us, they have a system where you can listen, and you see when people move, and then you can also have perks that can reduce that. So you can equip a perk, you won't be seen if you're crouching at all times, so you could really be stealthy, and then other players can rush you, and there's limits on everything. That's something I really, really love about The Last of Us. They have this really quite a good balance there. But what do you make of it, Caleb?
What do I want stealth?
It's a tough question.
I do want it. I think it's not in the game for the purposes of that it's too easy.
Right.
I think people in playtests were probably only stealthing around, maxing all the stealth stats, and just taking out PvE enemies via stealth and no other way. So I think to take it out means that it was too powerful and they couldn't find a way to balance that out. It's unfortunate because some of my favorite games, Assassin's Creed, Dishonored, and whatnot, the best way to play those games, in my opinion, is to play the stealth method.
Right. I totally agree with that. So it's going to be tough to see what they decide because, you think of Destiny, it is not a stealth game. Of course Destiny, they wouldn't want to add that. And I think that, the Division, I get the hint that they really are trying to go after the Destiny mentality, at least with the game design. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the features mimicked Destiny more than any other game. But I want some sort of stealth. I mean, seriously, guys. Like you described, flanking and stuff like that would be cool. There is that in the game from what I understand. You could, you go rogue in the Division when you start shooting another player. So staying quiet at the beginning, I guess you can say that that's sort of a stealth mechanic. But I hope they build on it a little bit more. And from what I have heard, there is that stealth tree which you can unlock in the Division. Also, The Last of Us has another mechanic that I think the Division has built on big time, which is the ability to go out in the field, collect medical equipment, food, resources and stuff like that, and that helps your survivors survive even longer. But you see like these little dots in a petri dish. That's how they represent it in The Last of Us. Like, those are your little survivors. I know, Caleb, your face describes it perfectly. That's how I was.
I haven't played it, so I
yeah, it's hard to describe. I'll show it on the screen here. But thankfully, the Division is going to use the base of operations for that, which is awesome. I want to see more from the base of operations. What would you guys like to see for the base of operations? I know that we haven't heard much from it, but what would you guys like to see? And Caleb, you can start this time.
That's a good question. I really want to see persistence. I want to see being able to build this thing up over time and get advantages from it. I'd like to see, it's too bad the companion app, we know that doesn't exist anymore. I really would have liked to see a companion app that sends me notifications to help my friends out. During the day, like maybe they need some resources and I can send them their way.
That
even
would be
with just
awesome.
a click of a button on my phone. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody has truly created a quote-unquote second screen experience that unites players as opposed to creating single-use experiences that people just play on the side. So I'd really like to see persistence, resource management, but not too crazy because I don't want to be forced to log in every day. And just a home, if that makes any sense.
A home away from home. Alex, what about you?
I'm leaning towards a more immersive environment there. I think I want to see something that I can customize to a light degree. Nothing too crazy. Nothing at the level of The Sims or anything like that. But being able to pick maybe a couple wall decorations or something, or a theme, an overall theme. Think of it like almost. My ideal, again, this is a pie in the sky idea. I doubt this will happen, but ideally something like Fallout 3.
Okay.
Not too complicated, but not, you can personalize it enough to make it feel like home. And then with regards to kind of what you're talking about with The Last of Us, I think that most certainly it would be nice to have a mechanic where you have to manage your home in some way, be it with, managing survivors' needs, their wants, their happiness, whatever.
I would love this.
Great. Yeah, that would be great, but I would also love to see something like almost kind of like what they're talking about in Fallout 4 with, you could be raided, or it could be, you have to defend your base of operations, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to go out into the open world, rescue someone, know that they're safe at the base of operations, and be responsible for them. I think that would be another thing. So if you have a likable character, you like their story, you have a huge responsibility when you see food or whatever out there in the world, and you're picking up these survival stuff, that you can take it back and know that you're helping the people that you have rescued. That's something that I would love to see. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like you said, that is the ultimate wish, but of course, remain realistic here. We've heard that the game has possibly been scaled back in size and stuff, so we'll see what happens. But, another thing that The Last of Us has, which The Division does not have, which really surprised me when I played it, was the ability to crouch and the ability to do melee. Now, The Division lacks this completely. Do you guys think that's a problem? We'll start out with crouching specifically. What do you guys make of that? And I guess we'll start with, I can't remember who we started with last time, so Caleb, you take it away.
Yeah, I was taken aback too by the fact that you couldn't crouch. I kept asking for it while I was playing it.
It's real weird.
Every time I kept forgetting that it wasn't there. Which is really weird for a Tom Clancy shooter. I think that, I don't know, I guess the argument could be made that we're crouching behind low objects, and we're kind of, that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is that you can't do it otherwise. When you aim, I noticed you also kind of hunker down a little bit. But there's no, it's a technical advantage to be crouched. I think you're better stable for shooting in real life. That's what they do. You even want to get prone if you want to be super stable as far as snipers and stuff. So it doesn't make any sense that you can't do that in this game, and I can't figure out why it was.
Yeah, it's like all contextual. It's really weird to me. I don't know how they made that decision, because Ghost Recon Future Soldier had the ability to crouch, as I recall. You can just crouch all you want, so I really want that freedom. What do you make of it, Alex?
Very much the same as you guys. It's a strange design decision to not allow you to crouch. Like Caleb said, you see that kind of crouching cover mechanic in a way, and when you kind of aim and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't understand not being able to crouch walk. You know what I mean? Not being able to enter a crouch position and move with a lower center of gravity and a smaller hitbox. Or a more compacted hitbox, I guess you could say. That's just, it seems like a weird thing to exclude when literally every shooter ever lets you do it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have reasons for it. I would just really like to see it in there, because I tend to, like I said, I play in a very tactical, stealthy manner in all shooters. I'm a very roundabout person a lot of times, except Destiny. Destiny, I'm very much.
You go all out. You kill everyone in Destiny.
But in most games, I favor flanking and tactics, and remaining unseen as much as possible to get those surprise kills. And I feel like not being able to crouch, not having a stealth system is going to it's going to be an interesting way to. It's going to change the way I play that game.
Ubisoft has had a weird relationship with crouching. It's like in all of their Assassin's Creed games, you can't crouch. It's like, what the hell, man? And then all of a sudden in AC Unity, you can crouch, and like, new feature, you can crouch. Oh my god.
New feature, bending your knees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I would like to see crouching in it, but what they also don't have is the melee system, which, I guess you go up to someone, and then you just push each other away. You're more dependent on the guns. You don't cause any damage with your melee. Now, in The Last of Us, you go hunting down a melee weapon. You grab it like a beam of wood. Then you could upgrade it, and you can turn it into a one-hit, one-kill weapon, which is just awesome, guys. You got to see it. It's like badass and brutal. But
I'll have to YouTube that.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you guys.
I'm hit! Fire! Yeah! Knock it down! One less hunter to worry about.
But would you guys like to see this system?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Melee kills are by far, again, like I've said 1,000 times in this video, being able to sneak around and get those surprise kills is great. Being able to sneak around and stab somebody and humiliate them, the disrespect of a stabbing and a shooter,
right.
you know what I mean? That's just, I don't do it all the time, but every once in a while, especially like in Counter-Strike, when there's a guy who is just camping out and just doing his thing, I love to teach him a lesson by knifing him.
And
That's
then
my
you
favorite thing about
teabag
it.
the hell out of him, don't you? Just admit
I'm
it.
not, I'm not a teabagger. I'm not a
Yes, you
teabagger, but I
are.
will melee you.
Bull, you're a teabagger.
But the thing is I do understand that there was, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys may know, may have some additional facts here, but I do believe that this was a feature at one point where these kind of stealth melee kills, or these,
It
one-hit melee
was,
kills.
yes. We saw that in the GamesCom, I believe, 2014 demonstration. They showed it real
Yeah.
fast where you can, like, it almost looked like you could interrogate. So I'm
And
surprised.
Caleb, I feel like you'd have something to say about this. Where did you ask them about that? Where they said that it seemed imbalanced or not properly implemented or something?
I'm gonna say that's me inferring the reason. That's not really. I wasn't officially told that in any way capacity. I was told it was removed, and that's the only thing I could think of as to why
Yeah.
Okay.
it was removed, and that is because I gotta think that the AI has a vision cone and probably a hearing cone, and if you can bypass the vision cone pretty easily, then you could basically stealth your way through the whole game and never actually shoot anyone. The whole point of a Tom Clancy game is to shoot people.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I want to kill some poor fools.
what I have a theory about now is they're still showing people with like hatchets and stuff on their backpacks, and I have a cool theory that maybe we get to throw those.
Oh, that would be something else. That would be... I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I have noticed hatchets. Like, in one of the screenshots, they also have a big fire axe that's just crammed, into a locker. So I wouldn't be surprised if you can grab that. But I'm hoping that they're melee weapons. I'm hoping that they do add something like that. And you have, different levels for your melee weapons. That's something that would be really, really cool. Even Destiny, has a melee system to it. So they've got to add melee. But what
That's
they
a very
do...
robust melee system too.
Yeah, exactly. But what they do have is rolling. You could roll like mad. Like I was rolling around, doing 360s around this dude, and he's like trying to get me, and I'm just like killing him. But what do you guys make of the rolling? Do you think it should stay? Do you think it needs to be managed by a stamina system? And Caleb, you can go ahead and start.
I saw you tweet about this, I think, a while ago, and you basically said like you need to be on a timer, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you could roll until I started doing it, and then I was just rolling everywhere. It was my second playthrough, and I think that's going to change. I think that we've said that openly to the dev team, and I'm pretty sure their play tests have revealed that as well when they do Dark Zone play tests.
Okay.
There's no other way around it. That has to change. It has to be
Yeah,
like
exactly.
two in repeat, and then maybe like a 3-second timer or 5-second timer.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I want to see. And then Alex, do you want to roll or not to roll?
Yeah,
barrel
I mean,
roll.
I'm always good with additional mobility in a game, and movement modes. I think that mirroring real life is always a good thing, and if you can roll in real life and roll in a game, that's not bad. However, I do not want to see the ability to roll endlessly. Because I feel like people will be traveling that way, and that's going to really aesthetically that's just going to be so dumb to me to see.
That's a good
people
way
go
of
on-
wording it. Traveling that way, I could just imagine everyone just rolling to the next objective.
Yeah. I mean, if you played Ocarina of Time, for instance, right, and especially if you've seen people who play it a lot, you notice that they do a lot of backflips, they do a lot of rolling almost everywhere they go because it's faster than walking. I do not ever want to see that in this game. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think of that.
If it's on a stamina bar or it's on a timer or something, that's a little bit better. A lot of games handle dodge mechanics and rolling that way, where you can, you can roll twice in a certain amount of time, and that bar has to reach in. Guild Wars 2 does that. I would prefer to see that rather than it not be in the game, but I most certainly I don't want to see endless rolling, infinite rolling. No,
The only game I really love rolling is Dark Souls and Bloodborne, especially when you see something that you could break. You could just roll, and just break it all. So if they have breakable items in the Division, just kidding.
Which they do.
No one's pots are safe.
Yeah, exactly. Your pots are mine. But we also saw at the very beginning of all of this in 2013, they showed the map of the Division, and it was multiple dark zones. You saw 3 or 4 dark zones, and you got the idea, oh hey, I can play my co-op, go into this dark zone, exit, then go into this dark zone. Well, that's no longer the case. There's going to be one dark zone. It's going to be 1/4 of the center of the map. Do you guys like this? Are you disappointed that there's only one dark zone? What do you make of it? And I guess Alex, you can start.
You know, I would like to see, of course, more everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more.
We kind of initially thought, I think, universally, that there would be more than one dark zone at launch. I do like the idea. On the inverse, I want to play devil's advocate. I like the idea of there being only one, personally, and the reason is that they can focus on making that an enjoyable experience, much more fleshed out. You know, no bugs. You know, everything else fits into the story well, or whatever it may be. Right.
Right.
That's always better launching with one thing that is mastered rather than launching with 10 things that are mediocre.
Well said. Exactly.
So that's, you know, I'm okay with it. I would like to see, and that gives us, you know, DLC options in the future, or expansions, or whatever they choose to call them.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see, or hopefully they don't call them anything. They're just updates to the game, like, you know, a lot of games do.
Free updates.
Ubisoft, I'm talking to you. Just listen here.
Yeah. Are you okay with it, Caleb? If you just get one dark zone?
I think if you watch other YouTubers that have done videos and calculated such space, the space of the dark zone will be, you're going to be very satisfied that it is very large. And I think that's the key. If it's a very large space, I have no problem with it. I would kind of have preferred smaller areas that were more akin to, you know, just littered around the game. That's kind of the way I wanted it. I wanted pockmarks and being able to have one in each zone of the city, because it is New York.
Right.
Manhattan specifically. That would have been cool. I understand from a architecture standpoint and designing a game that one area is a lot easier to deal with. And so while I'm a little disappointed, I can deal with it because it seems massive. It seems like a huge area of the map.
Yeah, as long as it's big, that's my biggest worry, is that it needs to be a large dark zone. Now, what's really cool about the dark zones, though, is that there will be your NPCs in them. I was wondering about that. There's not going to be a bunch of NPCs, but there will also be your dark zone vendors who you can talk to. And as you level up your dark zone rank, which I guess you get a separate rank for just the dark zone, you unlock vendors as you go. So that's going to be interesting. So as long as they make the dark zone a place that's extremely detailed in terms of progression and stuff like that, and it's pretty big, and of course there's the multiple levels where you have the skyscrapers, your street level, and then the underground. The underground, I really want to see the underground, because that sounds like a ton of fun. Something dark, mysterious, maybe even some creepy enemies down there. But yeah, dark zones. One dark zone, I think, will be fine in the end. So, guys, that is it for this episode. All about Tom Clancy: The Division. It has been a blast once again. Caleb and Alex, thank you so much for joining me, and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.